Okay, this is a short demo of a tool called Carpenter, which is useful for debugging CCIP logs. When you run one of our CI tests, it can print hundreds of thousands of lines of logs, and it's hard to view those manually. So that's where this tool comes in. So it's a CLI tool. Just going to build it. It's got these different options. So a tool for parsing and displaying logs. And let me just go ahead and show you with this log file, which is from a CI test that I'm running. Test CCIP batching, single source multi-price. And here it has just printed out the message. That might be useful in some cases, but probably in most cases it's not quite enough. So there's different ways that we can work with this file. So first, I'm going to provide it as a file name so I can add options to the end. Works exactly the same as piping it in. And now let's change the format. So we're using basic currently, that's the default. There's another option called fancy, which prints this additional formatting. This sort of line wrapping is maybe a bug that can get fixed. But for now, you can see it has this extra information if you scroll up. So this sort of identifier, the 3 is the dawn, the 1 is the oracle, and 0 is the sequence number. So if you scroll up, well, this is a long log file, so it's going to be hard to find things. Maybe for starting, we can get rid of these empty sequence numbers. Like many logs don't have an associated sequence number. So to do that, we can use a filter and sequence number 0. So now we've removed all of those zeros and we can just see the relevant logs. But we also have a number of dawns represented in here. So it looks like there's some data for dawn 2. So let's filter so that we only see logs for that dawn. Dawn ID 2. So now we filter out just that dawn and all the messages from oracles in that dawn and the sequence number. So there's a couple other things we can do. Like maybe we've decided, we want to look specifically at the Merkle root. So there's a number of other filters you can do. So in this case, filter, say plugin to the commit plugin. So now it's all commit plugin, Merkle root, CCIP reader, discovery. Maybe we don't want the discovery. Actually, let's just say we want the Merkle root. So we'll say component, Merkle root. What did I do wrong here? Filter component Merkle root. And maybe this filter is actually a regular expression, so you can do silly things like maybe include the CCIP reader and the Merkle root. So now I've got both of those. And yeah, that lets you kind of drill in. Let's see what else. Binding contract. Maybe we don't care about that particular message. So we can do another filter on the message. And binding contract, we actually need to put this in quotes. And we want a negative search. So now we've really trimmed it down. So we just have a handful of logs per sequence number. So that's cool, but we also have the ability to use different, different formats. So in addition to fancy, we have one called summary. And this actually does some aggregation. Splits up logs by each dawn. So now it's like we can really easily see there's not a lot going on dawn 3. There's not much on dawn 2, but here on dawn 1, there's a lot of stuff going on. So actually, in that previous filter, like we chose dawn 2, so that was actually the wrong one, and it was hard to see. But now we see right away, like we want just dawn 1. And in this display, you can really step through OCR, like what it's doing. So there's an empty report. It's actually kind of unusual. Why do we have empty reports in the outcome? Not sure. That looks like it might be something wrong. But later on, maybe we failed to form consensus for some reason. Later on, we see we actually were able to come to an outcome, and we selected some intervals. And then in the next round, we generated a report. Then they're in flight, and then they're transmitted. And we continue on. We select some more intervals later. And then you can sort of see like how many reports are being generated along the way. So you just quickly get an idea for what's going on. So the hope is that this is going to make it a lot easier to understand what OCR is doing with CCIP.